We spend thousands on kits, mics, and cymbals. We invest in little thingies to put on the drums, plugins for our DAWs, all in the service of sounding awesome on the drums. What if I told you there was a neglected thing hiding in plain sight that could 3x the quality of your drum sound in about half an hour? And that it's one of the cheapest investments you can make in your drum sound, save maybe sticks or gaffer tape. Of course, I'm talking about drum heads. I can't tell you how many gigs, rehearsals, jam sessions, by-the-hour rehearsal studios, and even recording studios I've been to where somebody has invested thousands in a kit, hardware, and cymbals, but the heads date from the Clinton years, if you're lucky. Well, over the past few years, I've run a lot of experiments with different models from different head manufacturers, including old heads and new, and I'm going to demonstrate to you what a difference good heads can make. And I won't bury the lead. I suppose this is as good a time as any to announce officially that I've decided to partner with the maker of my favorite heads, and that's Aquarian. Oh, and they were kind enough to partner with me back. That's why I'm now an Aquarian artist. And it's they who make this video possible by very generously providing two of my favorite varietals of their heads, the Modern Vintage and the StudioX. Well, that already sounds great. Which I've been trying out for the past almost year. But now I've got brand new ones to show you how much these heads improved my drum sound. And while I don't still have the old heads, I do have a ton of footage, so you'll be able to hear the difference. And by the way, this video won't just be about Aquarian, because whatever your fave heads, there are plenty of good ones out there. I'll give you some basics on tuning as well. Not to mention, I'll break down some of the hot licks you'll see me play on the new heads, and we'll have a free transcription available for download. I'm Nate, and people call me the 80/20 drummer. Ready to rock? Today on the channel, do good drum heads matter? Stay tuned. I've been very lucky. Aquarian has hooked me up with drum heads since last year. But it wasn't always thus. Let's do a rogues gallery of some of the heads I've played over the years. If we go back to just last summer, one of my most viewed videos of the year, and wow. How about in my old studio, the classic model? Let's see if we can find a headshot or two. Eek. And as I've mentioned, it was actually this semi-viral video from last summer that caused Eric Moore to hit me up, taking sympathy and offering to send me some new heads. And that, by the way, was the start of the relationship with Aquarian, because they just sent me a bunch of heads with zero ask, just to be nice. But it also gives us a cool opportunity. On the same kit, with the same mics, we can compare the old heads to the new ones. So we can see, whether it's Aquarian or the maker of your choosing, how much new heads improve the sound of the kit. Should we start at the beginning? Let's zoom into this popular video from 2024 and try to hear some of the sound characteristics of these older heads. Sidebar, I should tell you a bit about my studio situation here in New York. It's basically this: if you don't want to pay the equivalent of renting a one-bedroom in most other parts of the country, you need to share a studio. Those people with the beautiful studios and their own drums and permanent mic setups, yeah, they mostly live in houses where they have their own drum room. I tried practicing at home with mutes, with an arrangement with the downstairs neighbor about when I could play and when I couldn't, until I didn't. So, shared practice space equals any drum setup are going to be played by multiple people in multiple bands. I don't know all of them, and the one I do know hits hard. If I had my own drum kit and didn't want other people to play it, I'd need to set it up and tear it down every single day. Hence, shared drums. For ages, it was shared cymbals too, until I started working with Meinl. Cymbals, luckily, are easier to put up and take down between practice sessions. But this is kind of my point. If you're in a shared studio, or even if you don't have a super high-end kit, you can change the heads. And heads aren't free, but they're way less expensive than new cymbals and way less expensive than new drums. And as we'll see, you can change them something like once a year, and they'll still sound great. Anyway, back to our old head footage. Got that in your head? Okay, now fast forward to the first new heads I'm demoing this week are the StudioX from Aquarian. These are brand new to me, but already I had a reaction. Oh my god. These might be my new ride or die. But let's listen to how they sound a bit. I played them a bit with no cymbals. But then I went and grabbed my Ride or Die Byzance extra dry thin hats and hung a sound effect thingy on them to play some grooves. Now let's compare. Old, new. Now, quickly, let's check out the second set of heads Aquarian sent me. These are a brand new set of modern vintage, my favorite heads from the first shipment in fall of 24. We'll try them out so we get as close to an apples to apples comparison as possible. Here's a little playing footage of the new modern vintages. And here's a little of the olds again. Sidebar 2. How do I like to tune? It's super brief. In tuning, we have 3 factors. The natural sweet spot of the shell. That means the pitches at which it's going to really sing and not sound choked. The relative pitch of the top and bottom heads. And the relative pitch of the lugs. My roommate's rack tom is a beautiful stage custom from the 90s, and it's a 12-inch. I like the bottom head to be about a whole step above the top. But in this quick and dirty world of running and gunning, I just tune the bottom to where I think it's likely to be and kind of leave it at that. I bolt the top head on and use fingers, then 2 keys to get it within a couple steps of where I want the final pitch. Then I go around and fine tune to make sure it's in tune with itself. I should say, I've done a lot of experimentation beforehand to know where the sweet spots of this drum are. With heads as forgiving as these, that's really all you have to do. Next thing, you might be thinking, yeah, but Nate, if I have to pay for heads, I can't just go changing them every few weeks. Glad you asked. Because until this week, I was playing on last year's modern vintages. And not just me, my roommate, who's in like 3 metal bands. And they still sound great. Here's some footage from last week's video, which... your old heads. Comparison again. Old heads. Your old modern vintages. Finally! You might be asking, well, what isn't it playing on those heads? Because if you're stopping by the local guitar center to try out drums or heads, or you're at a trade show like a NAMM or a convention like PASIC, or your buddy pulls out the cell phone after rehearsal and you need to wax creative, I'll show you a couple shapes I've been working on that have been coming out in my playing, and we'll have the transcriptions of all of them available for download below the player. The first is this system for moving around the drums in singles and paradiddles. I start with an odd number on the floor tom, then leading with the left hand, come over to the snare and do an even number, ending with a double on the left, then a kick drum note. I can do any odd number on the floor tom and any even number on the snare, and I just practice flowing with it. Next, I can insert the rack tom in either direction. There are lots of shades of gray to this, but that's the gist. More recently, I've been practicing moving shapes around the kit with mobile home bass. That means that classically, we're used to the snare being our center of gravity and tom accents orbiting that home base, but there's no reason it has to be that way. Here, I'm switching between two idioms, right left left kick and right left left kick, and making the home base the rack tom, then the floor tom. Should I do it a little slower? Finally, an exercise I've been enjoying to make switching between singles and diddles and moving around the kit with the awkward hand. For instance, the right hand lead down the kit with 2 on the rack tom instead of just a sweep from right on the snare to left on the rack tom. Easier. Here it is. When I improvise, I try to figure out all the patterns and shapes, but they form the basis for what I do, so I can be creative and just think in, well, colors or something. And that's how you get the gig! Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that review slash unboxing slash slightly high utility lesson when it comes to drum heads. Have any thoughts about drum heads? Leave a comment below. Otherwise, a gentle reminder that every lick we practice in this video can be downloaded for free if you click the link below the player and tell us where to send it on the next page. Dudes, it's been real. Always enjoy these. See you again real soon in another lesson of the week.